Hey, what's going on there, folks? Earthmaster here, checking in. Straight up 9 o'clock p.m. Pacific time here in California, April 22nd, 2018, and update video for Sunday. And as you know, I spent last week out there in the Southern Plains region, parts of Texas, and unsuccessful tracking down some storms. Anyway, I'm back in California. The storms happened to pop off soon as I left Texas. It never ends, never fails. And had some pretty crappy service out there in parts of Texas with Verizon. So needless to say, it was a mess trying to use radar and with no service. No good. Anyway, a little bit of activity out there today, mostly on the west coast in Southern California. We did have a couple smaller quakes, 5.3 up there near this part of the world, and some older earthquakes over there near Indonesia, just getting ready to drop off the globe there. Looks like a 4.9 and a 4.2 should be disappearing as they are older earthquakes, and not a whole lot on the other side of the world. A couple fours sporadically scattered about the land out there. Nothing big, nothing major. Focus right now just primarily seems to be the increase there on the west coast region. Let me show you here on this map, California, Nevada earthquake map, most recent. Let me refresh it just to show you guys. This red dot being the most recent earthquake, looks like up there near Gilroy, 2.4. There was a 3.3 there yesterday, just near King City, California, a little bit further down south. That too is on the San Andreas fault system, and I'm mentioning that because there has been quite a bit of activity, specifically along the San Andreas fault system in Southern California, and of course also up here a little bit towards Gilroy. But before we get into that, I want to show you guys the activity occurring at Mammoth Lakes, Long Valley supervolcano. They've had quite the earthquake activity today, if you can't tell, right? Quite a bit. Okay, just that area alone is from today there. 3.6 being the largest quake, I believe, within that swarming area. It's not abnormal to see activity in Mammoth Lakes, but it does draw my interest because that itself, Long Valley supervolcano, is indeed a supervolcano. It's similar to Yellowstone, but these guys down south here tend to have that earthquake swarm more common. It seems to be more common in that region, but it's definitely a lot of activity that's picking up right now. Not only there, but also down here in Southern California, if you can tell by this map right here. Nothing big, folks. Largest being a 3.9 near Thousand Palms. That happened just a little bit ago. Thousand Palms over here in this region. Looks like they had a couple smaller earthquakes following that as well, with a 1.0, 0.09, and another 2 there, it looks like. Prior to that, a couple, actually a 3.1 over along the, well, kind of off the San Andreas fault system. But let me show you on this other map here. This here is from the USGS, 1 day, all magnitudes. It includes the US fault hazards. This red line indicating a major fault system, which is the San Andreas fault system to be exact. That is an area that it's kind of locked and loaded, according to the professionals, stating their history on it, saying that portions of it, the southern portion here, is definitely locked and loaded. And whenever we see increased activity out there, obviously it's increasing because we're seeing the activity at Mammoth Lakes and all these earthquakes down along the San Andreas fault system in Southern California here. The 3.9 is this one over here, right next to the San Andreas fault system here. Zoom in a little bit more. You guys can see it's kind of off there. Okay, it's just slightly off away from there, but it's pretty close. It's within probably about 2 to 3 miles of the major San Andreas fault system here, and that of course extends up into up into this region here. But this is definitely the activity, or definitely the region to watch for some increased activity on the large scale. This here is just a rough map of when the last earthquake took place in a certain region, and the possibility of likelihood that it's locked and loaded and ready to pop. Here's the years since the last major quake in that region. This area that we're watching, the last major quake was 1857, and that's the southern section right here. Further down south, I mean, they got, you know, if this whole section right here ruptured, we're probably looking at like an 8.0 is a maximum magnitude that can happen down here. But the southern section, I guess this is kind of north of Los Angeles right here, is the area that they're saying likely. Last magnitude, well, last earthquake was 1857. Years needed to repeat that quake is roughly 130 to 140 years. So according to this May 16th map, been 159 years since we've seen a major earthquake along this southern section right here. And I can't remember what the magnitude was on it. I think it was like a 7.5 or somewhere around there, the 1857 earthquake. But definitely some areas that are, you know, we need to watch out for. Here, not going to agree with this here. They're saying that, well, that's the 1906 area right here. But this Hayward section, away from the San Andreas Fault section, is definitely locked, and that's been in the news for quite some time of it being a good-sized earthquake there in the South Bay region. But it's definitely something we need to watch and always be on guard. As we can see, California definitely lightened up a little bit with their earthquake activity, and I do have a couple stations here pulled up. I do have Mammoth Lakes, which is right here, Long Valley Supervolcano region, and also do have the San Andreas data system here in Hollister. That's just south of the Bay Area right here. And also I do have a station called Barrett, which is down south in Southern California. So definitely a lot of stations spread out, so we can keep an eye on this area and watch for increased activity, because obviously there's definitely a lot of activity in Southern California region right now. Real-time tremor detection system here. Checked this earlier, and well, it's a little bit more active right now because these were not here. So some activity up north near Seattle, and also some activity in Northern California near Redding. And over the last 48 hours, it shows more activity, but like I say, it's very sporadic though, not too heavy on the tremor within the past 48 hours or so. Nothing that really pops out here in my mind. It's just something that we see, and yeah, so nothing big in that area at the moment. But anyway, folks, I did unfortunately streamed a live stream earlier from my pocket, which said I was in Alaska. I could not believe it. I was looking through my videos outside, just happened to be looking at my phone and checking out the stats and whatnot on the channel, and I see that I streamed roughly about 35 minutes ago. I had 7 likes on a video, and it said, "Saying hi from Alaska." So I was like, wow, I must have uploaded a Alaskan video. And I watched it, and I listened to it. It was dark, and I listened to it, and there was a conversation that I had with my mom just about half an hour ago. And I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? How did that happen? How did I stream from my pocket? Because there's like 5 steps that you need to take 5 or 6 steps that you need to take in order to stream from a mobile device. For one, you have to unlock the phone, right? I have Face ID and also a number ID enabled. Number ID is 6 digits, so the likelihood of 6 digits being guessed in my pocket is very low. And then you have to open up the YouTube app. You have to click on the video camera. Then you have to click go live. You got to update it, what it says. You got to update what's it about, what your live stream is about. You got to take a snapshot, and then you got to click the go live button. That's like 6 steps, folks. How did that happen in my pocket? Anyway, it did. It streamed 7 minutes of my conversation with my mom. So it was kind of private conversation, but good thing it wasn't too private. And yeah, it's just kind of strange. I've never had that happen to me. I've heard of people doing it on Facebook. They're live streaming, or they weren't live streaming, and somehow it got activated. I don't know. It all seems so strange. Anyway, first time that's happened to me. Hopefully the last time. Like I said earlier, I was just glad I wasn't in the shower or something. I'm glad I wasn't giving out credit card information or social security numbers. It's kind of strange. 6, 7 steps that needed to be taken all happened by random in my pocket. Anyway, folks, have a good night. Stay safe out there, Southern California, rocking and rolling a little bit. Nothing big, although it's something to keep an eye on as we're seeing increased pressure in Southern California. And stay safe out there, wherever you're at, folks. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you all later.